And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my peepo. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're talking about a mystery that has been racking the scientific community in the United States, y'all. 11 scientists that are of nuclear or aerospace speciality, y'all, have gone missing or have turned up dead over the past couple of years. People are starting to freak out because it seems to be happening again and again and again. People are wondering, is this some sort of plot by a foreign government? Are they killing people? Are they kidnapping people? Now you might say, hold up. Is this conspiracy theory? This is popping up on every major news outlet, as you're going to see here today. It has been covered by every major news outlet, and I frankly find this interesting as well. So what we're going to do first, y'all, we're going to take a look at a Fox News reporter asking Carolyn Levitt, asking the president about these missing scientists, and they say they're going to be looking into it. And also we're going to take a look at a brief history of some of the weirder deaths and disappearances of a bunch of these scientists, and a very popular, prominent Harvard scientist who's coming out saying, I don't know what's going on here, but it might not be that much of a conspiracy, y'all. So we're going to cover all of this, but we're going to make it a short, quick, tight video. So make sure you watch until the end, and then I want you to let me know what you think. But first, for now, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it.
There are now 10 American scientists who have either gone missing or died since mid-2024. They all reportedly had access to classified nuclear or aerospace material. Is anybody investigating this to see if these things are connected?
I've seen the report, Peter. I haven't spoken to our relevant agencies about it. I will certainly do that and we'll get you an answer.
What do you think is happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left a meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt now says the White House is actively working with all relevant agencies and the FBI to review all the cases together and identify any potential commonalities that may exist. This as the 2022 death of scientist Amy Eskridge has been identified as a possible 11th case included among the recent deaths and disappearances involving Americans tied to classified research. One of the biggest leaders on this subject in Congress, Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison, joins us now. Congressman, what's going on here? Do you think it's possible that some foreign spies could be scooping up our scientists to go build something?
That would be the most likely explanation for a lot of this, and that's not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, there's been activity of foreign countries interfering with whether or bringing over scientists from other countries.
All right, so let's listen to this congressman tell some of the stories of some of these people who have gone missing and wound up dead. It does sound very conspiratorial. It does sound very much like, that sounds like a lot of scientists who just walked out of their houses into the great unknown and were never seen again, or who were found dead or what have you, y'all. But let's let him tell it, and so you can start to form your own opinion, y'all.
That Schellenberger brought forward to our committee. Now, outside of that, I think what's really interesting and should be focused on, the investigation should be focused on, are the 5 people who really just walked up and left their home. I mean, who does that today? Who leaves their keys, their glasses, their cell phones, and just walks out of their home? Anthony Chavez in May walked out of his home. He was working for he was retired from Los Alamos and had some of our nation's top security secrets. You have Monica Reza, who mysteriously disappeared on a hike just 1 month later. And then within a few days, Melissa Cassius, who worked with Anthony Chavez, also at Los Alamos, she mysteriously walked out of her home, left all of her devices and belongings, walked out with nothing. And then you have, in August, just about a couple of months later, you have Stephen Garcia, who was working on some of our nuclear weapons programs, who walked out of his home. He had a firearm with him. And then also, of course, General William McCaslin, who walked out of his home in this February.
So when he says walked out of his home or walked out of her home, what he means is that this person I guess, kind of mysteriously just left the house, didn't tell anybody, didn't say, hey, hon, I'm going to get some milk. Just left all of their belongings, just kind of randomly wandered away from home. And nobody really knows what happened to that person. Were they abducted? Were they taking part in something secret? Who knows? That's really the whole point behind all of this. So it sounds quite conspiratorial and quite interesting. But let's listen to Avi Loeb. He is a very prominent Harvard scientist, and this is a man who does believe that there may be extraterrestrial life, y'all. He's one of the big proponents of that. But he's going to say he's not really sure if there's anything to this as far as all of these different instances of scientists disappearing, turning up dead, being somehow connected.
Vanish or die. While some cases involve clear foul play, others are a mystery, fueling speculation about whether the specialists were targeted due to their proximity to sensitive government data. We want to bring into the conversation Avi Loeb. He's a theoretical physicist who works on astrophysics and cosmology. He's also professor of science at Harvard and has written several books. Avi, thank you so much for talking about such an important topic with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with this. Did you know any of these scientists, and can you speak to their contributions in your field?
Yeah, so each of them has different expertise. But I think it looks like these cases are unrelated because the common denominator of the practicing scientist is not great. And I would caution of assigning too much significance to those. Of course, each of these cases is a mystery that has to be resolved. It's possible that there was someone aiming to harm those individuals, but I don't think it shows some evidence for a plan just because these people, for example, worked on unidentified anomalous phenomena. There is nothing of that nature related to some of those individuals. And I would not be too concerned about this being coordinated.
Very interesting you bring that up, Avi, saying that you don't believe that there's evidence of this, mass plan. But I think, antennas go up when they hear people are linked through a secret program. And, maybe, this is why they would be targeted. That's what a lot of people think. What kind of programs are we talking about when we talk about some of these missing scientists that we're showing you right now, their names are part of? What kind of secret programs are involved here?
Well, some of these programs relate to the Air Force. These are programs to develop technology.
Now I'm going to leave y'all with one additional clip. This is weird because you're going to hear about a directed energy weapon. Like one of these cases was actually investigated and a directed energy weapon might have been used on a scientist, y'all. I don't know. That's why we're talking about it here today. You let me know what you think, y'all.
In fact, today, we know that there's an operation by China called Operation Fox Hunt, as well as another one called Operation Skynet, that are designed to bring back and intimidate Chinese scientists to get them to repatriate back to China.
So if these scientists are being blackmailed or forced to do something against their will, if that's what's going on here, do we look at the usual suspects, Russia, China, or do you think that there is a door number 3 that we need to look at?
I think that we should leave all options on the table, all possibilities. When you look at these 11 scientists, there's some outliers, certainly, but each one has a very mysterious and unique case. I think Amy Eskridge, her case is somewhat of an outlier, but it's worth investigating. We had Michael Schellenberger come to our hearing back in 2024, and in his testimony, he provided information from a researcher, Frank Milburn, who was a retired UK intelligence official, who Amy had reached out to and asked to investigate some of the harassment, some of the weird things that were happening with her. And he determined that she was the victim of a directed energy weapon and that she was likely murdered by a U.S. aerospace company. So those are pretty heavy claims that Schellenberger brought happening with her. And he determined that she was the victim of a directed energy weapon and that she was likely murdered by a U.S. aerospace company. So those are pretty heavy claims.
So yeah, it definitely seems like it's kind of strange that a lot of scientists with very specialized knowledge would all be going dead, that would be going missing, or would be going dead, or would be going missing, or winding up dead. But things happen, right? I mean, in any sufficient amount of time, particularly with the flow of information now, people have information about all of these different deaths across the whole country. You can connect these dots, these deaths and disappearances. So I don't know, y'all. I personally, I'll wait to hear what the investigation says. I do think that strange things happen out there. I'm not sure that this is one of them. And even if, say, an adversary were to have gotten to one or two scientists, that wouldn't make this whole thing into a conspiracy. So I don't know. I'm open. What do y'all think? Let me know what you think, people. Drop a comment down below. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one. You know that we are a paralegal school. If you've been watching our program now, you know that we've been around for 23 years. You know that we help people get going in the paralegal field. You know that we've helped hundreds of people since 2003 start their career in the paralegal field or even move up in their career. Our certificate is good nationwide, and our program comes with an internship placement so that you'll get real experience on your resume. If you're interested, y'all, we are running a discount for all of our YouTube subscribers. Click the first link down in the description.
Get you on something else. You're an expert, Congressman, on a topic that we ask about every chance that we get here at the Sunday briefing: UFOs and UAPs. The Pentagon missed an April 14th deadline this week to release 46 UAP files that Congress wants. Now, some Republicans are threatening the Pentagon with a subpoena. So President Trump is saying this.
We found many very interesting documents, I must say, and the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know.
Do you expect this release to include information about a UFO that you've talked about in the press before that's so big it can't be moved, so the country it's in, which is classified, is hiding it by building a structure around it?
I certainly hope it does include that. Look, President Trump should be applauded. He is the disclosure president. He's done an amazing job of disclosing some of our nation's secrets that they've held on to for decades. But from my experience, we're going to have to wrestle the intelligence community to the ground in order to get this information out of their hands, because they really do everything they can to try to block us in our efforts. I sent a letter that was co-led by Representative Luna, Burchett, and many Democrats even, that was requesting these exact same video files. And then 1 month later, Representative Luna decided to go public with that same request. I'm glad that she did, because at the end of the day, we played nice, but at some point you have to stop playing nice. You have to be direct. And so